Hey, it's Joe Glines, and in this video, I'm actually going to append. It'll seem like it's the same video to you guys, but it's actually a second video. The other day, Maestrith and I were working on something, and he noticed something in one of my scripts where he thought there were some different approaches that he could have done, and I thought, hey, what would be a great thing to do is to look at my approach, then look at his other two, and I think actually he outlined a third approach of how we could have done the same thing. And then we ended up actually tweaking it and looking at, because the file I was reading was tiny, but theoretically, what if that file was bigger? So we got into like a 9 meg file instead of a tiny file. The initial file, my version versus any of his, they were all basically 0 seconds, milliseconds, right? It was super fast, so it didn't really matter. But we said let's upgrade it to like a 9 meg file we're reading and see the performance difference. So starting here in a second, so I just said, hey, let me record this when I was talking with him. I didn't give any sort of an intro to it, so it's going to seem a little weird here in a second. It'll be both him and I talking through things. And it's warts and all, right? We were dynamically live, just writing the stuff and playing. The only thing I got to say is, and if you don't know it, this is the code, which I'll post on my website if you want to play with them. And things are enabled and disabled. But if he builds things, instead of like turning on and off go subs, he'll use an if command. We didn't talk about this, but I know because I've worked with him a lot. He uses the if command, and he'll just throw in a 1, and then that means, hey, there's a value there, so use, do this function, right? Do this thing. And so that's how he's toggling on and off each one of these. So if you didn't know that, that'd be really confusing until you think it through and go, oh, okay, I get it. If that's a value there, then do this. And so we worked through a couple things. I thought it'd be a cool thing to share because, again, it's great to see how other people solve the same solutions and find different ways for doing things. I found this baby names file. It doesn't matter whatever file you want to test on, right? This file had, I forget, I showed it in the video, I think, but it was like either 180,000 or 280,000 lines of baby names in the history of popularity. But any big text file would work just fine if you want to plug it into your model and give it a try. So I think the file was around 9 megs in total. Maybe I'll zip it, because it'd be pretty small zipped, and I'll put a link to that if you care to download that file. So, all right, enjoy. Take care. Bye. But it's great to talk through, like, here are different approaches, right?
Right.
And so awesome. All right, so go for it.
Hopefully this will get okay. There's the text or the words. So there's the text. So there's 2 different approaches I would take. Object : stir split info rn.
Oh, yeah. And you get the count of how many rows.
Right. Then you could say, okay, so I want the 5th row. So there's your 5th row. But if you want random, zero, it's got to be 1. Start with 1. obj max index, then you say random. So that's the random line that it chose. And that's the random line that it chose that time. And that's the random line it chose that time, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with this text file, there are blank lines and everything. So then you could...
I'm curious, can you put on end of line 2, can you put the dot max index there and just get it? Or do you have to store it first and then get it?
You would have to wrap it in quotes here.
Okay.
Max : max index, so that you still have the object there, so that you can then use it. And then...
Well, and then could you move that entire line 2 to the end of that?
Yeah,
or
I suppose you could.
Is that one of those commands that...
No, you're fine. Yeah, you could probably do it like that, and then just negate that whole fact there. Then
right.
Yeah, it was just a blank line that it went to.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess technically that would work. The other way I would say that could work would be a little less efficient, but regex replace info /r, and I believe so. This is how you can get your count.
Yep.
So you got 351 lines, then use that, push that
Gotcha.
count to the
Same
random, and
Yeah.
then you could do a file read line, and then
Right.
so random.
Well, but don't you did the file read in the first place,
Yeah, so
right?
then it'd be kind of pointless.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a thing you could do.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, that was why I thought, because in the file object, isn't there a way to be able to tell how many lines there are with?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't believe so. Position, length, handle, read, seek, tell.
Yeah, you'd have to read the entire file and then see where the pointer is.
Right.
Yeah, which again negates
It's kind of silly.
you're reading the file. So yeah.
Yeah.
But no, wait a minute. Is there no way to tell the entire length right when you open it, or you have
Well,
to
there's a
read
way
it?
to tell the length. It'll tell you how many characters.
Oh, okay, but not lines. All right.
Right.
All right. Cool. Yeah, because the way I was doing it, if you can, when you get a chance, just pull it up so people can see it. It definitely was, I think, a little more inefficient because I was looping over the
Oh yeah, you were reading the entire object
yeah, looping over each line separately.
and storing it.
Yeah.
Is it this one? No, it wasn't this one. I think it was this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah, right there.
reading the whole thing and storing.
Yeah,
Oh,
incrementing.
just the wow. Okay.
Right. Just because I want to know how many rows it were, and I'm like, well, I've done that before where it works. It's silly, but it's
Yeah, just use the split or stir split function to do most of that work for you.
Oh, and then I didn't realize it, but I did use the file read line
Right.
after I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't storing the lines. What you could have done here was just created an object
Yeah.
and push in each line to it.
Right. Right. And then I can just access that random line number.
Right. Through the object, through the push.
Yeah.
So that's the other efficient way
Yeah.
or quote unquote efficient way to do it. But to me, just going through or just using stir split on the file is just so much easier.
Yeah, I like it. Especially because you've condensed that one down to 2 lines.
Yeah.
It's a little dense, but it's fine.
Yeah, sadly I can't condense it anymore because even with a file object, you can't. No, you can't do that in one line. I mean, you can get the info.
Because it's the random is part of the problem, right? It's a command, and you can't throw that onto the end of
the command. That's one of, well, no, not necessarily.
Oh.
Well, yeah, that is it, because if you could throw it in there, then that would be fine.
Can you zoom in a little? I zoomed out so we could see your whole screen. There we go. That's good. Thank you.
See, that is if random was a function, then you could put it at the end of here, but it's just unfortunate that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they haven't added that. I guess it's not used that much, but
well, 2.0 is supposed to. What is going on here? Too few. Oh, you dummy. You got to tell it to read it. There we go. Oh, that's not right. Oh, because I called it info, not text. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. LIC.
Oh, there's a S. You need an S there. Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah.
Learn how to spell, I guess.
I think for you it's pretty darn easy. Can you put a time of how long it takes? Not that we care, right? But I am curious of seeing how long it takes to do each of these.
Zero there. Zero there. And then the message box is just,
Sure. Yeah.
it's going to be however long I left the message box up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's going to be zero.
No.
So,
How about just with yeah, revert to the other one you did.
oops. Yeah, text. Escape.
S.
Yeah, I'm not too bright.
Oh, I can't spell.
Yeah, it's such a small file.
Yeah. Okay.
Over like huge files, you might see.
Yeah.
It's
Bring
like
in mine. I'm just curious. Can you copy mine and put it in here?
which is
The one that's in our tool, where we're looping. I loop over the entire file with the.
I don't have that file on my computer.
No, but you can still just adapt the path, right? So just go back to the tool we're building.
Yeah.
And then look at the syntax.
Oh, okay. I don't have that. Remembering the last one you're on.
Yeah. So the loop read A++ random.
Oh, this?
You're right.
Oh, yeah. That's probably not gonna be very.
You think it's still going to be 0?
Yeah, because it's such a small file.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just thought with the looping over, yeah, I guess it's still not that different overall.
Oops. There might be something.
Yeah, but I'd still do it after.
Even after here, it's such a small file.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but you're even after you're doing you're splitting it again, right? On that random, so yeah, so that still didn't even
Yeah,
happen.
there's nothing. It's so small. There's no. Trying to think if I have anything.
Text file.
I don't. Oh, I do have something big. That's like a 1.5 meg file.
Cool.
Maybe I misspelled something.
I don't think so.
Oh, because I didn't. Never mind. I'll still do that. There we go. I forgot to tell it what to read.
Ah.
Oh, I forgot to. Yeah, 31 milliseconds. That's to read a meg.
Yeah.
So let's see. Just deactivate that. And that's crazy. Oops. So this one here, 0. So that took 0 seconds to open the file. So loop read does introduce a little bit of lag, because this isn't actually. All right, let's go ahead and do something intelligent and say text dot equals a loop read line. There. Wow. 496 milliseconds to read it line by line and create the variable that contains the actual text of the file.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. As compared to 0 milliseconds to load the file, stir split it, and be done.
That's really interesting.
And then let's go ahead and if come on, dummy, learn the code. Okay, so file read text file name. So whoops, gotta tell it what to do first. There we go. So file read gave 31 milliseconds. So file read is actually less efficient than the file open, because every time I've run it, it's been 0 milliseconds.
Yeah, and that's on a file over a meg.
Right. So this one here, if we're doing the file read text, basically the same operation, but not using the file object, we were looking at 31 milliseconds of delay there. And heaven forbid you do this one, that's almost a half a second.
Yeah.
So with this, obviously is going to be the most efficient use of time. Granted, you know, we're talking the difference of 31 milliseconds between these two, and then like, you know, half a second for this one. So that's not horrible. But if you've got a lot of these files that you're looping over and reading all of these files, then yeah, there could definitely be some time savings, if bare minimum going with the file read. But with the file object, it's just unbelievably fast.
I have a 9 meg text file.
Uh-huh.
You want to try it and see what the difference is?
In one of our folders.
Okay. It'll be in the root, and we'll just delete it right when we're done.
Okay.
Right when I hit it, you opened Explorer, and I was trying to click on yours. All right, I dumped it there. It should be there.
Baby names CSV.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. F2, copy, paste. So this is the slow one. It's still working on it for just over 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
This is the file read. That's almost 100 milliseconds. And 0.
It's still 0.
Yep.
That's just insane. But this is a great. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you nincompoop.
What's that?
I forgot to change.
We hard coded that. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right, 125 milliseconds.
Wow, that's a little more than the file read.
Interesting.
It's super close, right? But
Wow. I would
So,
not
so
guess.
there's some overhead probably for opening that file object.
Yeah. 109. I mean, consistently over 100. Oh, there's 110. 94. We're not consistently, but we are getting sub hundreds. With this one, I think every time has been 100 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
And
I feel like a jerk.
oh, no worries. And then the original mine was 4 seconds, right? Not even the 125 is when
Yeah, it's minuscule.
yeah, it's nothing.
So file read is still going to be our
It's
fastest bet.
fast. Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, this one is just ridiculous because it's as this text gets larger and it balloons,
Oh, sure.
it does. That's where the lag is created because if you get rid of that, oh, you're still looking at 200 and almost 300 milliseconds. It's just the creation of that particular variable that causes the lag.
Well, yeah.
And what we could do to speed this up is, well, let's go obj1 and obj1.push line. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, but I wasn't doing that approach on mine, right? I was looping over it without storing a variable and just
Right.
getting the row count.
Yeah, that helped a little bit. Set batch lines to -1 about halved it. But I mean, you're looking at 100 milliseconds going through, not storing anything,
Okay, I get it now.
creating the text.
Yeah.
Creating a full text is 2.5 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Creating an object is about 1.5 seconds.
Interesting.
So objects are a lot faster than naked variables.
Sure. Yeah.
So see now here,
Yeah.
what I could do is say,
Yeah, get the random row.
obj1 dot max index m trim obj1 square random comma text. So that still gets us a line, but it takes about 1.5 seconds to get it.
Hmm. Yeah, but couldn't you use the file read line with the obj.max and just
It would still be a second.
oh, okay.
It would still be so we run this, it's 100 milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Loop read. Where is it getting? Loop read. File name. Oh, that's funny. But where is it getting? How? Oh, right. There we go. Oh, you know what?
Was that slowing down the object? Or
No, it's still. We're still looking at just over a second. Wow. Wow. That's actually quite quick.
Yeah.
63 milliseconds to get basically, oh yeah, I gotta. That tells us 258,000 lines. Wow. But creating the variable
Yeah.
slows it down to 2.5 seconds or 2.25 seconds. Creating the object only slows it down to 1 1/8 seconds. So concatenating variables is very slow.
Sure, because it keeps slowly adding to itself, right? And have to
Right.
reassign that. And yeah, that's
The objects pushing into the objects is about half of the time, but still takes time.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of time.
But that's where I would say is just get that max, get the AA plus, and then do the
Yeah, but you're
file.
still wasting a lot of time. Because if you do it this way here, you're looking at 94 milliseconds.
Yeah, that's crazy. But which one do you have? Oh, you just have it the last.
This one here, opening up 62 milliseconds to read through the file.
Yeah.
To get the max, that's fine, but you still have to read the text, which.
Yeah, but I'm just going to read that line, not all the text. That's
yeah.
where, once I have that line number, I can use the read line number.
File name.
See. Then put the random up in front of. Okay.
$94 milliseconds, which is still a little longer.
Yeah, but it's close.
Oh, wait.
Oh, right.
109.
All right. Yeah,
94. 109.
So it's relatively. Oh, wow. It's not terrible. How's that?
94.
But obviously, it's a lot more code to.
Yeah, it's a lot more code to get in because I can do this in 2 lines down here. And do it in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Cool stuff.
So there's a lot of different ways to attack the problem.
Yeah. Well, what's great is, especially because we saw the performance differences, right? And understanding how big your file is, what your goals are, that it changes which one you'd prioritize over.
Yeah, which way you would do it. Yeah. I don't honestly think I would ever do this.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot more code to it and the speed benefit, there is none. It's pretty much the same as doing a file object.
Right.
And doing the stir split and this here. Because this right here is only 94 milliseconds. And that's the whole round trip. And I mean, yeah, you get a little, it's so varied. 78, 94, I saw in the hundreds. With this one here, 109, 94. 93, 93.
On line 27, where you're defining the OBJ object with the stir split, do you still need the OBJ colon equals there, or would it
Yes.
work? Okay. Because of the parens.
Right.
Okay. Because in reality, the second part is after the first part.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I use I guess I could have just put this at the beginning. There. Yeah, 79 milliseconds, 94 milliseconds. 109.
And how many lines was that file? It was
200,000.
something like that. It was big. That's crazy. And, people talk about how inefficient AutoHotkey can be, and it's like, yeah, it's not the most amazing, but 258,000, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not, we're leveraging, I would imagine, a lot of the built-in Windows APIs for a lot of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, pure AutoHotkey code can
Yeah.
be very slow. It's just, it all depends on what you're using it for. Like Studio, I wrote Studio. It's a little slow for Studio, but
Yeah.
I kind of make do with what I have.
Yep.
Just because AutoHotkey is what I like. I could program it in C or some other language that, like Python or something, but I wanted a challenge for AutoHotkey.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much all but met it.
Oh, yeah.
It does goofy little weird things here and there. There are some quirks to AutoHotkey, but I've done my best to mitigate most of it.